Good morning. Happy Sunday. This is Sunday School Simplified. If you have not watched our videos before, this is where we just take our Sunday school lesson and squish it into a short, simple video that is good for all ages and the entire family. So last week was the first Sunday after Easter, and we talked about hope. Previously, there was this big build-up during the entire season of Lent for the Resurrection Day. And basically, He is risen so that we may rise. He is risen, period, the end. That's not how it goes. It was the continuation of that, because there's this big build up and then there tends to be this big letdown. So it was all about just saying that it is not He is risen, the end. It is He is risen so that we may rise. And it's the beginning of a new season with endless possibilities and abundant opportunities. Even I was excited and overcome with emotion at just the thought of it. And it's always really easy to be inspired and motivated when we're in that moment of worship and learning. But then what happens when the video ends and you're back to reality? I'm just as guilty of this. And that's what really inspired me for this week. Also, a quote that Pastor Mary shared from Maya Angelou: hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. She said it twice, I'll say it again. Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. If you are too afraid of dying that you cannot live, it is keeping you from doing what you came here to do in this life, fulfilling your purpose. And I kind of asked myself, why? Why do we do that? So when we're all excited and talking about that hope, and then the video ends and we're back to reality, where is the disconnect? Why does the hope diminish so quickly? Why is the silver so quick to tarnish? This is not heaven. It's because this is not heaven. Yes, this is God's kingdom, but it's certainly not paradise. And I know I'm really excited, but this is very serious. I mean, look around us. Sin abounds. Throw a rock and you can hit prejudice, hate, inequality, discord. Before the rock even leaves your hand, you're going to encounter one of those things. So, of course, it's easy to lose hope as soon as we are no longer in this moment, and we are sucked back to a stark, harsh reality. But as soon as one of those things enters your mind, from turning on the news or picking up your phone and seeing the next breaking story, as soon as you see that or are reminded that this is where we are, that hope starts to slip, whether you mean it to or not, because there's fear in that. Whether you acknowledge it or not, or no, those things are filled with fear. What is hate if not the fear of the unknown? So as soon as the fear comes, that hope starts to slip. They cannot occupy the same space. And the only way out of it is through it. Name it. See it, name it. Even if it's as little as, a twinge in your stomach, or even if you don't feel anything, because a lot of us are so numb and jaded to just the next thing. It's like the flag at the White House doesn't even get a chance to go back to full staff before it's being dropped to half staff again at another senseless tragedy. See it. Name it. Call out that fear so that hope doesn't slip. Call it out so okay, there it is. You're not letting it occupy the space. So your hope is not allowed to slip. So your hope is strong and firm. Now, I don't normally heavily read scripture, but this is from Romans chapter 8, and I just feel like, we talk about these things, well, how do we do them? And this scripture really spoke to me. So I'm just going to read it to you. Those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. The mind of the flesh is death, but the mind of the Spirit is life and peace. Because the mind of the flesh is hostile to God. It's sin. It is the opposite, the antithesis of God. It does not submit to his law. You, however, are not controlled by the flesh, but by the Spirit. If the Spirit of God lives in you, we have an obligation. It is not to the flesh. It is not of this life. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if you live by the Spirit, you put to death the deeds of the body, and you will live. Oh, it gives me goosebumps. Consider that our present sufferings are not comparable to the glory that will be revealed in us. What happens in this life is not what is to come. The creation was subjected to futility in hope. Here's the hope. That the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and brought into this glorious freedom of the children of God. All of these fascinating yet true things. So, for in this hope we are saved. But hope that is seen is not hope at all. That's another repeater. For hope that is seen is not hope at all. Who hopes for what we can already see? But if we hope for what we do not yet see, we wait for it. So, what then shall we say in response to all of these things that I just said? Here's the kicker. If God is for us, who can be against us? Here's the moment in the video where I start to cry. If God is for us, who can be against us? Yes, all these things that keep happening are terrible and they are inexplicable and they don't have justifications or reasons. Name them. See them. Name them. Don't give them the fear. And if you can do that, you will hold on to your hope. Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. This is how we hold on to our hope in the face of fear. We name it, we see it, we name it. We know that if God is for us, no one can be against us. These are sins of the flesh. This is living by the flesh. But if you live by the Spirit, you cannot be moved by these things. That's Sunday School Simplified. Please share with me your favorite part of this video and how you find hope in in these times. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, hope-filled week.